think you have a shot or whatever, which is great because you're going to be there at the end, and if you didn't get boxed in, you probably would have got it. Well, here you're going to find out sooner, potentially a lot sooner, that you don't have a shot at it, and folks don't register because of that, right? Like they just don't want to get shelled off the back and be out of the race. So we were trying to brainstorm, how do we encourage folks to show up, register, and race, support one of the greatest one-day criteriums. Do I have to specify that?
No, okay. That's fine. But I appreciate that you did.
Support one of the greatest criteriums in the United States by just registering and racing, which is what downtown Crit needs. And so we're going to offer a few prizes for the last placed finisher in 3 fields.
Welcome to Between Two Wheels podcast, episode 69. This is Tyler Janke coming to you with Curt Mills and Chris Flower from Nevada City. How you doing, Curt?
I'm doing great.
And you, Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing great. And just to clarify, Curt's from Nevada City, right?
Who did I say was from Nevada City?
I think you said all of us.
We are coming to you from Nevada City, though.
That is what he said, because we're located in Nevada City right now, which is important.
I wasn't paying attention.
We're on location recon for the podcast, much like we were for the Amgen Tour California. This is how we do it now. We go and we scout it out. All right, so we're talking about the 58th annual Nevada City Bicycling Classic. Started in 1961. It's what did we determine? The longest running this side of the Mississippi. Crit, 1 day crit, something like that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, they have 2 day crits.
And the rumor was it's the second longest running in the country. We did hear that this morning.
We've heard of a few rumors, so we don't always know what's is correct and what's not. But we're going to give you a little breakdown of the race. We've also had an interview this morning with one of the former promoters of the race. We'll give you his perspective as to what he did in the 90s and some of his just knowledge of the race. So we encourage you to come down. So we're going to run through the events here and the time that they're happening, but let's get right to the big issue that we have had, which is looking at the pre-registration. Curt, what do you have for pre-reg?
Yeah, so pre-reg numbers are really, really low. And obviously this is a downtown criterium. The town supports the race in part because they expect folks to show up and race it and people to come watch. So, it would be great if we could get more folks registered. Obviously, we don't have any affiliation with it other than wanting it to do well. But currently, the Pro 1-2 fields started to fill out a little bit. I think we're up near 25, 26 riders. The women's P1-2-3 field is really, really low. They've only got 4 pre-registered riders. And last year they only had 4 riders or 5 riders.
5, yeah.
Yeah, 5 riders as well. And the Elite 3, which is another race that should seem like it should do well, only had about 10 riders earlier today. So just really low numbers kind of across the board.
Okay, so with low numbers, let's talk about why they should show up here and race in the first place. One of those things is the prize list. Let's go through the prize list on the different races. And notice, if it's placing 10 deep and you've got 4 people signed up, hey, there's a good chance you're going to be in the money. So, Chris, what do you have?
I think you are in the money.
I think that's a guarantee, yeah.
Together.
So the point is, if you haven't signed up yet, go ahead and do so. It'll probably be worth your time.
For sure.
Chris, you want to look at what do you have for the cash prizes for some of these races?
Where do you want to start? Do you want to start early in the day?
Sure.
So it looks like the men's 4-5 and 35 plus 3-4-5 is getting a total of $500, and it's paying 3 deep for each of those fields, so $250 per field, which is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
For a 4-5 and a 35 plus 3-4-5 field. The women's 4-5 in the Masters Women 35 plus 3-4-5 and the Masters Women's 45 plus 3-4-5 is getting paid 3 deep each and $500. Pretty good. Masters 35 plus 45 plus is getting split $750, 5 deep for each field. Then we start getting into some bigger money here. The men's 3-4 standalone field, 8 deep. And right now there's 13 pre-reg, and they're getting $750 and medals, I believe, to the top 3. And then for the really big money, as Curt noted, the women currently have 4 pre-regged. It's paying 10 deep for $2,500. And I think if they up the reg number to was it 25, Curt?
It's actually 35.
At 35 people, then that prize value goes up 3,000.
Up 3,000 or up to
Goes
3,000?
up another
to
$500.
3,000.
Okay,
So
another.
$3,000.
And then the men's P12 pays 15 deep, $3,000.
So what's nice about looking at all these too, it doesn't say prizes and merchandise. It's just, it says cash.
Right.
And then there's a few of them that have some prizes, which is only the juniors. So everything is like cash and medals. So yeah, good for all those.
But even with that, that money's been out there, and that prize list has been pretty consistent throughout the years, and the registration is still kind of low. So one of the things that we had kind of talked about internally is trying to come up with ways to get more people to come up to the race. And I think, Curt, you had some ideas as to...
Are you going to wear that chicken outfit?
I think that's Stefan's. It's some of the things that prevent people from coming up to the race, given the nature of the course.
Yeah, the chicken outfit was one of those.
You know, but to just change the subject on those, we were on a Coffee Republic ride a few months ago. A month ago, and we're going up that trestle climb, and it's random. Some dude's out there in a chicken costume, and another one in a grown ass man in a diaper cheering us on. I asked Stefan if that was his family. He said no.
So they were there for another event, and I think we were just the fortunate recipients of their support.
What was the other event?
There was a...
what could that possibly be?
It was a fundraiser ride that was kind of going throughout the greater Sacramento area. I think it was like a 4-stage event, and that was one of the climbs they happened to hit. So I don't know if we were ahead of that group or behind that group, but either way, we were fortunate enough to get to see that. And there was a photographer up there as well.
It was like that video on Facebook where it's the random guy out for a bike ride, and then all those folks, are there at the end to pretend like he's in the Tour de France or something. And
it was kind of the other way around, where it was just two guys in attire, and
one was
then
like
a group
Furby.
of riders.
One was like a Furby,
we all
another one had
remember
like
it differently.
Jonathan Winters and Mork and Mindy problems.
Clearly, you weren't off the front.
I think we were. We were right up there.
Yeah, of course we were, Curt.
Jeez.
All right, back to the race. Back to the race, folks. So
why don't people come up?
So yeah, this is an amazing town. So some of those ideas, what were some of those ideas non-affiliated with the race? This is the Between Two Wheels podcast own.
So not everyone can win this race. There's a lot of climbing in it.
Sounds like a lot of races.
Well, you can go to a red kite or a flat business park crit and
legitimately hope.
Maybe you think you have a shot or whatever, which is great because you're going to be there at the end, and if you didn't get boxed in, you probably would have got it. Well, here you're going to find out sooner, potentially a lot sooner, that you don't have a shot at it, and folks don't register because of that, right? Like they just don't want to get shelled off the back and be out of the race. So we were trying to brainstorm, how do we encourage folks to show up, register, and race, support one of the greatest one-day criteriums. Do I have to specify that?
No, that's fine. But I appreciate that you did.
Support one of the greatest criteriums in the United States by just registering and racing, which is what downtown crit needs. And so we're going to offer a few prizes for the last placed finisher in 3 fields. The men's P12, if you're the last placed finisher, meaning you get placed by the officials, not a DNF. DNFs don't count.
And we're not exactly sure how that's going to be because I know in the past they've polled riders but given them a placing.
I'm not sure you're the lawyer, but I don't know that we have to stipulate all this.
Right. I think it's as long as you're not self-polling, like if you're halfway up the hill and say, I'm out of this, then I think you're going to get placed. So stay in the race until you're told not to.
Yeah, that's my point. And hey, as the lawyer, we reserve the right to fix this as we see fit. Anyway, continue on.
So registration's $30. What we're going to offer is a $100 prize for the men's P12 last placed finisher. So you get your reg fee back, you get a few bucks. We might come up with other stuff to throw in there. We'll see. It probably won't substantially increase the monetary value, but there will be $100 cash for the last place finisher in that field. And then we're going to do the same thing for the women's field, but the women's field is a little bit different because right now everyone gets cash. So our last place prize, clearly people aren't registering
because they're already getting their last place.
Right. They're going to get more than what we have. So we're going to require that field get larger than 20 riders to provide that same prize, which I think is fair. We hope that's fair. Then are you going? We didn't discuss this, but the race itself is
women's P12 plus 35-1-2. Are we just saying that field in general, or the P12 field has to be that many people?
I think that's all rolled into one field. I don't think they're getting placed separate.
Okay.
So for that race,
we'll say, hey, 35, P12, all that. It's
all on starters. Okay. It doesn't matter if you're 35, but
that's how
whoever
generous
starts at that time. Yeah. We're completely being fair. So if you get over 20 riders, last place rider gets $100, which we think is amazing given that there's no reason for us to do that. Like, really.
Yeah.
And then for the other race that I really want to see do well is the Elite 3 race, which currently only has 10 riders registered as of this morning. So we're out of money, but we do have a Girosynth helmet that didn't fit me. It's a nice helmet. It's a good helmet. There's some value there. I see that I've got the box for it. Like, you can put it back in the box. It's practically new. Like, literally, I've just tried it on. It didn't get over my oddly shaped head, like the two corners at the back.
Those are horns.
Yeah. So we're going to give that to the last placed finisher in the E3 race.
And I think if that's not enticing enough, we can throw in a couple other little goodies to make it a sweeter deal.
We've barely even looked around at what we might have.
That's true. I see some tires floating around here that might be a good prize.
Tires, some tubes. I've got a shirt still in the hermetically sealed bag at home that I will bring. It's probably a medium or small, so it should fit. Probably not the person off the back, but
I have a small set of dinner plates from World Market. I never used them, but I mean,
you spin them on the weekends,
right? I mean, looking at them in a bag over there, I'm like, I need to get rid of these. They've never been used. They're literally still. They've got the paper from when they put them in there.
What about they can just come up to your garage and get 30 seconds to take what they want?
No, this is a nice garage, by the way.
I don't think that's. We won't do
Bikes
that.
are off the menu, but everything else is up for grabs.
Total side note: how long does beer last?
Like, I don't know.
6 days.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I have some bottles of beer that need a new owner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we could bring that stuff, and you can pick what you want. You can pick through some things.
All right. So how do they collect?
How do you collect? That's a good question, Tyler. So when you're on the course, there's a spot where you're going to get sprayed with water. It's very near the top left-hand corner at the top of the course. There's a small road that goes to the right there. We're going to be standing right there. So at the end of the E3 race, at the end of the women's race, and at the end of the men's P12, we will be there to hand out the prizes. If you do not find it there,
good luck.
Well, no, you can flame us on Facebook, whatever, but we'll be there.
Yeah, now look, we're doing the P12 race, so let's say
it might be difficult for the women to find us right after. So
we might be done early, but let's just say a car pulls out
and we're not
takes out the field.
For the prize.
Oh, yeah, no, but I'm saying, hey, give us a little bit of time to get back to that spot.
Correct. Yeah, I mean,
we might miss the women if we're lining up to start, but we'll figure it out. We'll find people.
Oh yeah, the women's field might be a little bit rough. But that's a good problem to have if they get over 20. So we'll figure that out.
Yeah. If anything, we'll have a liaison or something handed off.
We will post any changes to the Between Two Wheels Facebook page.
Yeah. Facebook.com/between2, the number 2 wheels.
Yeah.
But again, you've got to hang in the race and be placed.
Yeah. Like we said, I'm pretty sure if they pull you, you're going to get some sort of prorated placement. So
yeah, you can, again, we don't care as long as you are placed. You can do whatever it requires. We don't even care if it's fair. Like, as long as you get placed. If you're the last place. No, I've seen guys place well at this race who literally stop for a lap or two and then jump back in. And because the scorekeeping wasn't the most sound, they get placed. We're not going to judge you. We just whatever you want to do. If you're
Are we going to take this before or after the protest period is up, though? Because
it's after the protest.
Oh, okay, the official results.
Yeah, people are going to protest for last place. I mean, they're going to want this prize.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Right.
So how long do you have to hang in there on the men's race? So I'm looking at the times here. So I don't know. Hang in there, but 75 minutes for the men's. That makes it pretty tough. The women are 50 minutes. Elite 3, 50. Everything else is 50 down to 45 for the Elite 4s. The women's, Masters, men 35s are 50. So
a little bit of positive news about the men's P12. So I think right now we're registered at 26, or we have 26 pre-registered. Last year, I think Chris said the number for total racers was 36.
That's correct.
So we are well on our way to surpassing what we did last year. In fact, the women are well on their way to surpassing what they did last year.
They're at 80%. They're right there.
Right. But so there is positive. We just need to, obviously, we want to see that number get significantly better in all those fields.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about the race change, the route itself, Curt. You live up here. You're a little bit into the history of the race, dating back to 1961. I know you said you could go in the Chamber of Commerce and really look at a lot of the info, but the route has changed a little bit. Describe for us that have kind of just done the last few years of racing what it was and it's going back to.
Okay, so essentially they've gone back to the original course, which is a shorter course that has a shorter downhill, and the climbing really doesn't change a whole heck of a lot based on the rumor we heard this morning. So where you used to register, and where you used to start the race, there was an alley there. That's essentially where we'll be starting, and that'll be the last left-hand corner into the finish of the race. So they've eliminated the long part of the downhill that went into the 180 that was a little bit technical and a little bit tough, and sort of simplified the course with a few less turns.
Yeah, so they come down there, they take a left right where the start-finish line used to be or the registration, head through that alley, take a slight jog. It goes straight up the hill towards the courthouse, veers left, and then connects to the course where you would normally start the climb.
Yeah, previously it was the first or the third left on the course.
Yeah.
And now you'll be joining the course there, from the other intersection. So... and it's a good little kicker there. The alley kind of narrows down early in a race. If the field's big, it could hurt a little if you have to touch the brakes there and you have to, jog up it in a big gear. In some of the fields, the way they're sized right now, I don't imagine it'll be much of a factor.
Oh, the little chicane, almost a chicane.
Well, just how it narrows down into the alley by the courthouse. Yeah. It goes half in size. So you go from like two legitimate lanes to and parking to one lane and parking. So it's about half the size of the other section.
All right, so that's the difference there, and I think it should be good. Should be a little bit more interesting. Maybe carry a little bit of that downhill momentum into the first little kicker, which would just changes things a little bit. Yeah.
I think it'll make the finish fun. So in years past, especially on a day like Sunday is going to be, where it's going to be hot, if you wanted to watch the finish, you're out in the sun and you're baking, and now you're going to be up in the shade underneath some nice trees. You got the opportunity to sit on some grass. You have a perfect vantage point for guys coming around that last corner and going for the sprint. So it should be a good spot to watch the race too.
So where is the finish then? On the up the hill?
Yeah, so it should be either at the top of that hill or about halfway up. Right next to the courthouse, there's a wall there. So you can probably sit on the wall, but it'll be up that. Correct.
Oh,
so
cool.
I think it's about 8% grade there. So,
and is same kind of announcing crew as Dave Toll coming up to do the race?
I have no affiliation with the race whatsoever. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll find that out.
Yeah, Chris. Jeez.
I don't know.
Okay. So what about, look, you should come up and do this for many reasons. If you happen to win the race, you get or now the Lantern and Rouge, by the Between Two Wheels podcast, right? For these, you get to put your name on an illustrious list of riders. We have, former Tour de France legend Greg LeMond has won this. Lance Armstrong has won this and had the race taken away from him.
Levi Leipheimer has won this race. Alexi Greywall has won.
Keep
the
going.
race.
Who else do you have? I know Ian Boswell has done it as a junior, I think.
Ian Boswell's won this race.
And he's won this race.
That is true. He's won it as a junior and as a pro. So, yeah. Ben Jacquemains actually took over the title from the year that Lance Armstrong had his stripped. So, a lot of big names.
You might need to verify this, but one of the legends in the Masters field, Chris Colboll, I remember seeing his name on the list as just a normal Cat 1-2 racer. So when he was maybe in his 20s. So there you go. Chris, I know that's important to you.
Very much so.
All right, so you have that. The race, look, it's got climbing, it's got fast descending, but it's pretty legendary. The route is great. The crowd usually shows up pretty good for it, and then the weather is pretty good as well. I don't know that we've had a race here, especially the time of year with bad weather. Matter of fact, the weather that you usually have is super hot. Last year it was baking. This year I think it's just going to be really hot Saturday and cool a little bit on Sunday, below 100. So still be warm, but should be able to.
Again, it's a criterium that you have.
One day crit.
You literally have somebody that's going to stand at the top of the hill and spray you down with water.
Yeah.
So even though it's a hot race,
they usually have bottles out there too.
You only have to climb half the lap, and then they spray you with water, and then you go back down. So it's really, it's cool.
Yeah. Any predictions on what we have for who's regged and who you think might be coming in?
Who might join the race or who might?
Who do you
win?
think's going to win?
Gosh,
we can start with the P12. I think Aria probably has a good shot of winning based on who's registered so far. In the event either Curt or Tyler here don't have a good day.
I didn't lose the 15 pounds I needed to, so it's probably not going to happen.
Kurt Carlson is also registered. He's a former pro.
Oh, yeah.
Used to ride with Garmin Slipstream and
won the Pesquenta road race.
That's true.
The Pesquenta, not the Chico stage race Pesquenta.
Yeah, I don't know what he's done recently, but Creighton Gruber's also won that. He's in the race. So it'll be interesting to see what type of form he's on. I would assume that he wouldn't have registered unless he was riding pretty well. So
I don't know. Maybe he saw your post on Facebook and
he registered before the post.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to help
Also
out.
doesn't like me.
I know Andrew Shimizu is coming out. Is that correct?
I don't see him on this list, so he's not available for picking.
He's confirmed. Yes, he'll be there. So Stephen Vogel's also. He'll be an interesting rider. We know how strong he is. Yeah. He's a bigger guy, kind of like Bushek.
Who's coming out for Tarun?
I know Chris Beal is on the list.
Andrew
so far.
Haslam's there. I would assume they'd come out with their whole squad.
Because I could see them doing well as also.
Between them and Mike's.
Roman Kalun signed up for it as well.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a break with those two teams if Tarun ends up with a stronger team there. Team California actually has quite a few riders with Cooper and Camden and Leo.
Oh, is Rombold coming?
He's listed, yeah.
Yacht was in there. So this will be pretty good, even though you've got Chris, Curt, and I signed up for the P12 race. It's still got a lot of heavy, some notarized, some heavyweights there. So,
and we're sure that the three of us aren't eligible for this last place prize.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take it.
I think we'd have a good shot at it, though.
I doubt we could even win that.
I don't think we could either, because you have to place.
Oh, okay. In that case,
we would have to again.
I think Oak Valley's going to bring a few extra guys that aren't registered yet, so they should have a decent team.
Matt Chatleon will be there.
He's been looking decent, and you can't count him out.
God, he's riding good. Yeah, that'd be good to see him race.
So this morning we talked to Charlie was his name. He owns Xtreme Outfitters, bike shop here in town. He had promoted the race from like 94 to 98, he said, somewhere around that range, and has been long time involvement in cycling. So we'll post that in here at the end. Give a little conversation with him as to his thoughts and take on the race over the years. What about yours, Curt? Having now lived up here and done the race several times, what's kind of the memory point for you?
I mean, I guess I just remember coming up here in 2009 when Lance Armstrong did it, and there was 12,000 people around the streets watching the race, and it was electric back then. And then sort of reading about the history, and that's really what the crowds were. They were 10,000. There's reports of up to 20,000. We've seen the sponsors that they used to have, which were big name sponsors, Subaru and Coors and some of the others. So I'd love to see this race return to that sort of glory. And I think it's small steps, but people registering and coming out and racing is definitely the first step. Like, we don't get anywhere without that.
And how did they register? Did we talk about that?
We haven't talked about it on this particular recording. But yeah, you can register on NevadaCityClassic.com. There's a registration link right on there. And it's quick and easy. You mentioned that it's got a PayPal option, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it's linked over to Time Your Race.
Yeah.
One other thing I would mention, so one, the reg fees are incredibly low. They're like $30. That's next to nothing for a race. $15.
$40 for the P12.
$40 for the P12. $15 $15 for an additional race if you want to do 2, and there's no late fees. So even if you wait to the last day, which I would encourage you to pre-reg just because it's the nice thing to do for promoters. But even if you wait to the last day, there's no penalty. So please come. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Chris, have you done this race before?
I've never done the race. I've never seen the race. So it'll be a whole new experience for me. So I'm looking forward to it. And it's one I've always kind of put off because just same thing. I never really felt like I would have a shot to be around in the race. So it'll be a fun one, I think. It'll be a good experience.
Tyler, did you ever do the race before your first retirement?
No. First retirement. No, I did not. So yeah, bully for me.
Yeah, cool.
But no, I've done it since I come back, and it's one of those frustrating races to me because I love it. Right? It's the perfect kind of race. It's got a little punchy, and then if you don't come in quite fit or you have a little glimpse of hope during the race, I've come away going, if I just train a little bit differently here, but then it's hard to put down the burritos every day. But so anyway,
but we've been doing that for the last 3 days.
Right? I did not lose the weight. The 15 pounds did not come off like I was hoping it would be.
Yeah.
All right. So I would hope everyone can come out to the race. Like I said, look for us on our Facebook page. We'll give some updates and those prizes. So we should be able to award someone. And any other last thoughts for the Nevada City Classic from either one of you? Anything we're missing?
Even if you're not going to race, show up and support the race. The town has to decide to shut down all the streets. If you come into town with your family and friends and watch the race, it's really no different to the folks. They think that is a good thing. Go to the restaurants, check it out. That is why they throw the race. It is put on by the Chamber of Commerce. They hope for commerce. So that goes a long way to making sure this race happens year after year. So
last year they had that Saturday night like street sprints. They're not doing that this year. Is that correct?
Yeah. So Saturday night they're not doing the street sprints, but there is a brew fest with 6 breweries. 5 of them are really, really local and they're great. And the 6th one is Sierra Nevada. So for I think $30, you can get all you can tastings down at Three Forks Brewing in the parking lot there, and there'll be food trucks and food and all sorts of stuff. So it should be a cool event. There's also a concert going on in Pioneer Park, completely unrelated to the race. Saturday night at 7:30.
Who's headlining that?
I don't know. It's like a string orchestra, so I don't have all the details, but I know that's going on. And Pioneer Park is a beautiful park. So if you're in town the night before, it's a cool place to walk over to and check it out. And there's a ton of swimming holes. Obviously, the Yuba River's a few miles away. Well, it's going to be hot, Tyler. And
I know, but it's getting country. Now I'm wondering about this concert in the park. Is it how country is it?
It's not that
we got swimming holes and a jug to blow into to make some. Anyway, Grandpa's corn syrup, cough medicine.
In any event, yeah. So there's
plenty to do, is what you're saying.
There's plenty to do. The Nevada City Chamber of Commerce website has a list of things to do for visitors like you.
Speaking of, I know this area. We've done quite a few rides up here in the toxicity belt of the weed production. Do they take pot coin for your reg fees? Do you know if they do that?
They do not take pot coin
unless it's linked to your PayPal account and you can transfer through those means.
Okay, well maybe
there might be an option.
There is a Bitcoin ATM on the Broad Street downhill. So
right, I might have to check into that. All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hang on for a listen to our interview with Charlie, and we'll hope to see you at the race. Thanks.
Thank you.
Charlie Cuisinot, Xtreme Outfitters Basketball Shop.
All right, so we're up here in Nevada City, and we're talking to a legend in the town, I imagine, and someone who has a lot of info about the Nevada City Classic. Why don't you give us a little? You just were talking to us here about the race itself. Give us your history with the race and some of the people involved.
Well, I moved here in '94, and the race was going strong, but we noticed a decline in the not in the participation, but as much as the crowds. So Bill Miller, a good friend of mine who's been in the bike business for years and years, selling high-end race bikes and equipment, he approached me, and he had put the bike on, or the bike race on, back in the 80s. And he knew pretty much the history of the race more than I did. I raced it when I was a junior. Junior would be, I was probably 16, 17 years old. I did it twice. So I knew all about the race, but he had promoted it, so he knew a lot more. So he wanted to put some new blood in the race and asked me if I would help promote the race. So we did it, I believe, between 94 to 98. We did it for 4 years. The first year we put on the race, and we decided that we really wanted to build the race up, and instead of putting the same race on as it's been over and over, we decided that we wanted to make it a little bit larger race. So we started a mountain bike race, the Nevada City Dirt Classic is what we call that. In fact, Jet Low has taken over that race, and she's still promoting that, and that's going strong. So we did a mountain bike race, and then Saturday night we went into what did we do there? We did.
But before you got and started doing this, it was just the 1 day event.
Well, it was still 2 days. Remember that's Ron. It was the Ron Miller. That's his memorial. It was the Gaslight Memorial. So what happened is, I believe the juniors and I believe some of the women raced after about 5 o'clock into the evening, and then we did the rest of the race Sunday. So it was a 2-day race. It was basically a Saturday evening, and then Sunday after, I think it started about 12. So now they've condensed it down into 1 day, and it makes it hard to put on I think, as good of a race being condensed into the 1 day. Originally, Charlie Alert is the one who started the race. And it was always a 2-day race, and the whole idea was to bring people up into town. So by making it 2 days, people would show up Friday, Saturday morning, get a room, buy some food, get some gas, watch a bike race. Now it's being that it's 1 day, it's easy to shoot up in the morning, Bay Area, Reno, wherever you're coming from, and watch the race and leave. But it's condensed into 1 day, so it's not like it used to be. So being that it was the 2 days. So when we did it, though, we wanted to actually expand on it. We wanted to make it more than 2 days. We did the mountain bike race. We did at one year we did a time trial. We did a stage race. So we saw it as something that you, just like what they're doing in Downeyville. One of my boys is off to a race next month, and it's a 2-day enduro points race. So with that being said, my wife just booked 3 days in a hotel, and it's going to be a nice little vacation for him. So being that's 1 day now, you don't really get the same effect.
When you had the mountain bike with that, were you getting contingent of mountain bike pros, road pros, and who were some of those people that were showing up? Because you said mid-90s, like 94, 98?
Yeah, 95, 94, 95, 96. So we did for 4 years. Again, can't remember the exact years, but in that time frame. But yeah, there were a lot of people that showed up to do the mountain bike race, and they stayed to watch the road race. So we had still pretty good crowds, but that was the whole point in us doing, is that the crowds were diminishing, and they've continued to diminish. So
did you get an increase in the crowds with your what you were doing then with the multiple days, and see a pump in that, and maybe it's gone down since then?
We thought so. We thought that the crowds were at least stabilized. We didn't see a decrease in attendance. I mean, we still had very large crowds. But one of the other things that we tried to do, which is what happened this year as well, is we experimented, why does it have to be on Father's Day? It was going to conflict with the Bluegrass Festival that was going on. Remember, the Bluegrass Festival originally was piggybacking off of this. Now that event had turned into a week-long event, and I think it was taken away from the race. And as well as other races were going on in the country, so we were saying, okay, let's pick maybe the weekend before, the weekend after that didn't conflict with other things going on, because a lot of people are trying to decide between spending time with dad and the bike race, and not every dad wants to come to see the bike race, so you're trying to choose what's the best case scenario to do. So by moving it, we wanted to keep it in the same time frame, week before, week after, what wasn't going on that wouldn't conflict. And so we were experimenting, at least. We weren't saying that we were doing it perfect, but we were trying something different to say, okay, crowds are diminishing. Why? Conflict of interest, not as good a quality of a race. What's happening? Another thing is, the purse. The bigger the purse, the pros show up. It costs a lot of money to travel as a team to a race, and if there's not enough money, they're saying, what's the point?
How was the purse back then when you were involved with it?
I don't remember quite the scenarios. Of course, the more the people showed up, the more money we could give out. But I was saying that we were dividing. I think the top 8 were being paid, and we were probably dividing up about $15,000-$20,000 between them.
That's pretty good, and that was mostly just community involvement, sponsorships. We also did raffles. We got bike companies to donate bikes, and what we wanted to do is say, we were offering very expensive bikes as raffles. These weren't cheap bikes, and you had to be present to win. So not leave the race early, buy a ticket for $1. So if you were to win, it adds some excitement to it also. I could win a $3,000 bike. I'm going to watch the race. We're going to have a great time. So we had climbing wall structures, face painting. We try to make it a family event as well as just a bike event. It's changed a little bit on the course itself from the years going all the way down, but now it's cutting where the start finishes. How did you have it when you were?
We kept it the same.
The original,
but through the years they have tried it that way. So this isn't something new. This is something different. At least they're trying something different.
Yeah.
So
do you think it's a good deal moving it off of the Father's Day as well?
I do, personally.
Are you going to show up and watch it this year?
I'm gonna. Yeah, I think I am.
So you raced it back then. Did you also mentioned just a little bit before that you were involved with the team? And let me know if you need to. Oh, we had the police officers show up, and then it looks like they're on a call.
Yeah.
You were mentioning that you were involved with a team from the Bay Area. Is that what I?
Yeah, I used to have a store near Stanford, in Menlo Park, and it was Menlo Velo, and we ran a pretty good team. We had both a men's and a women's race team. So,
when was that?
I opened that store in '84, and I sold it in '94 when I moved here. Liz Chapman was one of our racers, women racers. She was one of the first women to race the Women's Tour de France. Sherry Rogers was on our team. We had some very good women. I don't remember all the guys' names. Dominique Anderson, he was on the Reebok team. He raced for us. There's Pete Rosser, who lives in Reno now. He's a very good racer. Tommy Thompson, Russell Mead. They both also race track. In fact, I have a state champion jersey in here from them. I think from. I
saw it around the corner. 89.
Yep, 89. They won. They did track and criterium for us.
So I see you got some really cool memorabilia up in here. Not only the posters, but some old bikes. That track bike there with wooden rims.
Yep, 1935 Schwinn Paramount.
Rideable.
Rusty spokes, but if I rebuilt them now, I'm sure you could ride them.
So what? Any big memories from the Nevada City Classic over the years for you?
The one thing I could say about the race is that it's a lot of work, but it's like a lot of things that you put in life. You work hard and you reap the benefits of putting on a good race. I think the problem is that it's with work people want to be paid, and it's never been a something that you would do for money. If that's your goal, then it's probably the wrong thing to be doing. But if you get enjoyment and satisfaction and putting on the race, so I think you have to do it for the love.
Which it sounds like you did.
No, we put a lot of love into it.
Any last words for the race this year?
I hope people show up. It's I understand that people are conflicted about the date that it's on. It should be on Father's Day as tradition, or a week after as it is now. But if you love cycling, whether you're a mountain bike racer or BMX racer, it doesn't matter. If you love bikes, it's a great race to come to, and I believe it's the second largest continuous race in the country now.
Yeah, and we'd like to keep that moving.
Absolutely. But we have to try and like anything else out there, if you see that what you're doing isn't working, you can't do the same thing over and over. You got to try and find. So
as a shop owner, you're obviously involved in the cycling community as trends. Do you see a trend moving away from like the road scene that we have here? Because I know gravel's a big deal right now. Right. What do you? And now you're secluded up here. I wouldn't say secluded, maybe, but in Nevada City. But it's a different atmosphere.
Absolutely.
But what do you see just in your area as far as trending?
Well, we have a great road riding area, but we don't have a great shoulder, so you're going to always be battling with the cars out there. When I was racing, I grew up in the Bay Area, and we used to climb the Skyline Ridge out to the coast. Not great shoulders there either, but we didn't have people texting all the time as well. So it's the world's a different place now. People are getting fast food and eating their burger while they're on the way to work. They're texting, putting on their makeup, all kinds of things. So it's a little bit different world out there. I wish we could have more shoulders to the road. That would be a great solution. You see places like Tahoe that have worked hard on the recreation, not just the snow part of it now. The biking out there, the rafting down the Truckee. It's a great recreational area, and as you go up there, there's all kinds of things to do. Before, it was built just for skiing, but my boys have raced for years and years mountain bikes, and we've gone to a lot of different states. And you take Colorado, for example, most of their ski resorts have turned into mountain bike parks as well. And as we talked to some of them, said before the biking community came along during the summer, what did you do? And they said, nothing to do, we closed. Now the race was going on, the week of the recreation was going on, and they were busy, very, very busy, and they were very appreciative of it. So I think that some people just think that spending the money to build roads is not, or a shoulder for the road is not money well spent. And for me, I think it's money well spent. More people can commute if that's your thing. For a destination for tourism, people can come up and ride their bikes and feel a little bit safer, and they're going to spend money. They're going to buy that pizza. They're going to get gas in the car. They're going to get that bed and breakfast, just like we've seen in Colorado and what they're doing in Lake Tahoe. I think we can piggyback off of what their success is and do the same. But that's me. That's what I think.
Well, I appreciate your time today, and also appreciate your involvement in the race over the years. It's helped, keep it going, and hope to see you out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.